council to meeting to order, for Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. As we gather, we are reminded that the town of Bonnyville is situated on Treaty 6 land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and is the traditional homeland and home to First Nation and Métis people today. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nation, Métis, and all First People of Canada whose presence continues to enrich our community. Before us, we have an agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There is an amendment to 7C. It should state the approval of the 2024 audited financial statements.
Okay. If there's no other changes, I'll look for a motion, please. Councillor Blanchard.
I'll move adoption of the agenda as amended, Madam Mayor.
All in favor? That's carried. Next, we have the meeting minutes from council meeting April 8th, 2025. Were there any corrections, additions, deletions? Seeing none, I'll seek a motion to approve, please. Councillor Sharoon?
I'll move the council meeting minutes dated April 8th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Great. Okay, first up, we have a delegation, Wild and Company, Natasha and Renee, to present our audit. Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine, thank you. Did you want to go through and do your presentation and then we can do questions and comments at the end?
Yeah, we can do that. And I was also going to stop every few pages just when there's a good break in case there's a couple questions that anybody may have.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
So yeah, I'm Natasha Podrosny and I'm the audit lead, and Denise Reyes, who's the audit partner for the town of Bonnyville audit. investments is just a minor investment in a U of A cooperative. Accounts payable and accrued liabilities have increased by 2.2 million solely due to the timing of when payments are made and due to construction holdbacks. And a significant portion of this is due to the upstairs renovation project where invoices received after year end. Asset retirement obligation has increased slightly due to just annual inflationary increases, which are required. And moving on, long-term debt decreased by approximately $1 million just due to repayments. And we'll move forward to page 2. And here's where you'll see the budgeted column now. And this is your statement of operations, which shows the revenues in and expenses out. Again, just doing some variances here. The gain or loss on disposal of tangible capital assets, that's just the disposal of equipment and machinery and some other minor things. So that's just the gain or loss recognized there. And other revenues of $2.3 million includes the licenses, fines, and franchise fees. Moving on to expenses are all relatively consistent to prior year. Overall, they've increased just due to rising costs and inflationary increases. In the other section, government transfers for capital, there's a significant variance there from budget. Budget was 5.6 million and actual was 1.7 million. That variance was just due to timing of capital projects and when they're completed. Contribution of capital received of $61,000 is from the C2. Overall, excess of revenues over expenses is $2,039,894. Is there any questions up until this point?
No, not at this time.
I will keep moving. Page 3 is the statement of change in net financial assets. Again, you'll see a significant variance here on the acquisition of tangible capital assets. Again, that's just due to timing of when capital projects can be completed. Proceeds on disposal, again, that just ties to the disposal of equipment and some machinery in the year. And then we'll move forward to the next page, page 4. Statement of cash flows. Basically, this statement just helps identify where the cash is going. And if we can scroll, I think we're at page, if we can scroll to the next page. No? One more, 2, please. Perfect, thank you. So some key, you just see the increases and decreases there. But overall, it was a positive change in cash flows of $420,000 in the year. Cash in the bank, as we talked about earlier, is $27 million. Of that, $1.8 million is restricted for projects. That's shown in deferred revenue. That leaves $25,600,000 available for use. And then moving to the next page. So this is the statement of changes and accumulated surplus. So one thing to note for this year, there's a new presentation for this year. So unrestricted surplus shows as 0. What we've done this year is we've actually already allocated that out to the restricted capital reserve instead of doing it in 2020, at the beginning of 2025. Whereas that's always been what's been done in the past. Overall, there's $36 million held in reserves. Now, whether that's for capital projects or operating, there's a split there. 14 million is for operating reserves, whereas 21 million is for capital reserve. Equity in tangible capital assets is 129 million. So that's just a calculation of the equity held in capital and the debt. Overall, total accumulated surplus is 165 million.
And you'll notice on this page 1 that we have kind of a deficit of $814,000, and that is just to use up the unrestricted surpluses from prior years. So those have just been transferred into reserves, as Natasha mentioned.
Is there any questions to this point?
Nope, we're good.
Perfect. So we'll move to the next page, Schedule 2. 2, which is page 6. I won't spend too much time here, but this is the tangible capital asset listing broken out by category. The cost at the end of the year is $249 million with accumulated amortization of $105 million. That leaves a net book value of tangible capital assets at $143 million. And just of note, this includes the ARO calculations as well. And moving to the next page. This is the schedule of property and other taxes. So again, fairly consistent year over year. Not much changed here. And we'll move to the next page. This is the schedule of government transfers. So of note, a significant variance, which you've already touched on, is the transfers for capital. Again, 5.5 million was budgeted and 1.7 was realized. Again, that's just the timing of when projects are completed. And moving forward, this is the schedule of consolidated expenses by object. So it's just another way to present expenses if you want to see, by category. Again, not much changed here. And we'll move forward once more. This is the segmented disclosure. So this just allocates revenue and expenses by department. Again, just another way to see how every department is operating. So then we move into the notes to the financial statements. So is there any questions up to this point?
No, we're good.
Perfect. So I'm not going to go too much into detail on the significant accounting policies. I just want to highlight some significant ones. So under reporting entity, it says the consolidated financial statements reflect the assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenditures, changes in fund balances, and change in financial position of the reporting entity. Again, this kind of ties back what I said at the beginning of that the municipality also includes the Sports and Leisure Center and the C2. This is solely just because there's an investment in or the operations have amalgamated into the town. So just letting the readers know that there is other organization financial information in here. Moving on to the basis of accounting. So the financial statements are prepared using the accrual basis of accounting, and the accrual basis of accounting records revenue as it's earned and measurable. Expenses are recognized as they are incurred and measurable based upon receipt of goods or services or the legal obligation to pay. So I just wanted to highlight some high-level accounting policies there. Moving on to page 12. Significant estimates in the financial statements include amortization, estimated useful life of tangible capital assets, allowance for doubtful accounts, the local improvements receivable, the valuation of the asset retirement obligation, as well as the recoverability of long-lived assets. So just keeping in mind that all of those numbers that you'll see on the financial statements are estimates in some capacity. Cash and cash equivalents. This includes obviously cash, but then cash equivalents includes investments in treasury bills and are valued at cost plus accrued interest. And they would have a maturity date at less than 90 days. So just keeping that in mind. And I will skip to page 14. And if we can go to the bottom of the page. Perfect. I just wanted to highlight on this note, it's the recent accounting pronouncements that are published but not yet adopted. So what this is there's new accounting policies per the handbook, the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board handbook, that are required to be adopted in future years. So this one is pretty significant coming for, it's effective April 1st, 2026. So that's the fiscal 2027 year for the town. So it's a significant change to the way that the financials are presented. And I chatted with administration about looking for some opportunities to early adopt this standard, as it is fairly significant. So looking for new courses that might be offered through various associations that administration's a part of. I just wanted to highlight that to council if you're at your conferences and stuff, that this is what that is in case you're hearing about it. That financial reporting presentation is going to change pretty significantly in 2027. on to page 15. Included in the cash amount is a restricted amount of 1.8 million, as I chatted about earlier. And council has designated approximately $21 million for capital replacement, so that's your capital reserves. And next page. And then this page includes the asset retirement obligation. So again, last year, administration worked pretty diligently on adopting this new standard. So this will continue to be in the financial statements until these obligations are remediated, and they'll just be annual increases for inflation. And then I'll skip ahead to page 18. Deferred revenue is 2.1 million this year. So this just highlights the allocation of funding on specific projects. So again, 1.8 million of this is restricted for certain projects. Moving on, long-term debt is at $11.2 million. Again, just repaid annually and no new debentures this year. Debt limits available for use is 5.4 million, and that's at December 31st. And then moving on to page 21. So this is the salary and benefits disclosure, which is required by municipal affairs. And just wanted to highlight there's two separate lines for the CAO this year. Just we're required to break that out whenever there's multiple people in that role. The town is responsible for cost overruns related to the Bonnyville Regional Water Services Commission at 80.2%. In 2024, this totaled $280,000. And LAPP, the town contributed $399,000 to LAPP, whereas employees contributed $355,000. And next page, yeah. And I just wanted to note number 19, which is subsequent events. This relates to the bylaw 159125, which is to authorize the town of Bonnyville to lend funds to the Clayton Bellamy Foundation for the Arts to complete the construction of the Strathcona Performing Arts Center. This bylaw authorizes a loan of up to $800,000 from the General Capital Reserve, bearing interest at 5% per annum. The reason that this is included in the financial statements is that any subsequent event that occurs after December 31st that is not in ordinary course of operations has to be disclosed to the users. So the town of Bonnyville is not in business to give loans to other people, so therefore it's a subsequent event has to be disclosed. So, and other than that, is there any other questions with the notes?
Any questions on the notes? No, we're good, Natasha, thank you.
Perfect. So I just wanted to thank Renee and Janine and the entire team again. And I also want to thank you for continuing to choose well the company for your auditing services every year. And if there is any other questions in regards to the financial statements as a whole, we're happy to take that now.
Any questions on the financial statements? No, we have no other questions here. Thank you for your presentation this evening and the comprehensive report that you presented with us. And just also want to thank you for all your work that you did on this audit and with our administration team this year. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And Renee had wanted to highlight a couple things on the audit findings letter just before we conclude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and I appreciate you having us here again this evening, and just highlight again the strong financial position that the town of Bonnyville is in, and of course the appreciation that we have with working with you and your team. Overall, we've encompassed most of the things that we were prepared to discuss on the financial information, and just looking forward as you're planning with reserves, your reserves are substantial, and as you're looking at your 10-year and future planning, that we just have to make sure that there is cash flow available to use of all of those reserves as you move forward, so that is great. And Natasha has already discussed the recent accounting pronouncements, so nothing significant that we need to really report. We're just happy that your systems are working so well, and the audit went very smoothly, so thank you for that.
Excellent, thank you. Really appreciate it. And I think that's everything for this evening. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Perfect. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Okay, we now have an item for public hearing, so I'll need a motion to move into the public hearing, please. Councillor McAvoy.
I will move that we go into public hearing.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. And we have one agenda in public hearing, amending bylaw 1596-25. Speaking on that. Dan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Pursuant to the Municipal Government Act, public hearing is required to be held for any amendments to the land use bylaw. The bylaw has been advertised in accordance with the legislation. The public hearing is for amendments to land use bylaw number 1447-16 with regards to changes to penalties for development permits. Administration is recommending the council proceed with the public hearing for the land use bylaw amendment 1596-25.
Okay, thank you. So I'll open it up. Is there anybody present who'd like to speak for and against the bylaw? Please come forward. I will call a second time, and I will call a third time. Being no further business before this public hearing, I now declare the public hearing closed. If I can get a motion to move out of public hearing, please. Councillor Kushner.
I'll give you that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. All right, we've got a couple bylaws. First up, planning and development fees.
March 25th, 2025 regular council meeting, administration presented draft bylaw 1595-25 planning and development fees, and it was given first reading. Purpose of this bylaw is to update fees, include a fine that would equate up to 5 times the fee for a lapsed development permit, and an increase in the fine for building without a permit and other minor housekeeping items. You can see a number of attachments along with this report, and it is administration's recommendation that council provides second and third reading to bylaw number 1595-25.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for administration on the bylaw? All right, we're looking for a second reading on the bylaw, please. Councillor Blanchett?
I'll move second reading to bylaw number 1595-25.
All in favor? Carried. And I'm looking for a third and final reading, please. Councillor Johnson?
I'll provide third reading for bylaw 159-25.
All in favor? All right, that bylaw is carried. Thank you. Next, bylaw land use amending.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At the March 25th, 2025 regular council meeting, administration presented draft land use amending bylaw 1596-25, and it was given first reading. The purpose of the bylaw is to update section 31 fees, section 62 offenses, and remove section 124, the keeping of animals. Administration has amended the original draft with council's comments and completed a review to ensure applicability. It is administration's recommendation that council provide second and third reading to the land use amending bylaw 1596-25.
Thank you. Any questions for administration on the bylaw? Okay, again, we're looking for second and third reading, please. Somebody want to do second reading? Councillor Johnson?
I'll provide second reading to the land use amending bylaw 1596-25.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. And a motion for third reading, please. Councillor Sharon.
Yes, I'll make the motion to accept bylaw number, or the third reading for bylaw number 1596-25, land use amending bylaw.
Thank you. All in favor? All right, that bylaw is passed. Next, bylaw to amend bylaw, council procedural bylaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Attached is a copy of amending bylaw number 1599-25, a bylaw to amend the council procedural bylaw. The purpose of this amendment is to adhere to Section 199 of the MGA, which outlines the requirements for meetings by electronic means and must be completed by April 30th of this year. Although our current bylaw does allow for council to attend meetings by electronic means, it is now a requirement that public hearings under Part 17 of the MGA also allow participants to attend meetings this way as well. The sections that were updated and amended in bylaw 1599-25 include section 5.9, 6.2, 12.8, and 17.2, and they are highlighted in green on the attachment. The provincial government has recently announced that there will be further amendments to the MGA under Bill 50. It is anticipated that these amendments will require updates to the council procedural bylaw, and administration will review the bylaw again and bring these amendments back when it comes into force. We are recommending that council provide all three readings to bylaw number 1599-25, a bylaw to amend bylaw number 1530-22, the council procedural bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for administration on these changes? Okay, seeing none, we're looking for all three readings this evening, please. Councillor Kushner?
Yes, I will introduce and give first reading to bylaw 1599-25, a bylaw to amend bylaw 1530-22, the council procedural bylaw.
All in favor? That's carried. Motion for second reading, please. Councillor Blanchett?
I'll move second reading of the same bylaw.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. I need a Councillor McAvoy.
And I will move that we proceed to third reading of bylaw to amend bylaw number 1530-22.
Thank you.
1599-25.
All in favor? Carried. And third reading, please. Motion for third reading. Councillor Shurin?
I move third reading for bylaw number 1599-25 to amend bylaw number 1530-22.
Thank you. All in favor? All right, that bylaw is carried. Next, transfers to reserves for the 2024 year end.
Thank you. At the February 25th council meeting, council approved several transfers for the 2024 year end, with the exception of the accumulated surplus or deficit. As there could be year-end adjusting entries required that could alter this amount, it is best to transfer any funds from a surplus after the financial statements are completed. Administration is recommending that council approve the transfer of $629,119.92 to the general capital reserve. This amount includes an adjustment due to asset retirement obligations, as well as the 2024 accumulated surplus.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, we're looking for a decision, please. Councillor Langridge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will move staff recommendation.
Thank you. All in favor? It's carried. Next, financial report for March 2025.
Thank you. Attached is the quarterly financial report for March 2025. This includes the bank reconciliation statement, the operating budget financial report, and the capital budget financial report. And we are recommending that council accept the March 2025 financial report as presented.
Thank you. Any questions for administration on any of the reports that were presented? All right, seeing none, we're looking for a motion to accept, please. Councillor Blanchett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move that council accept the March 2025 financial report as presented.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next, approval of the 2024 audited financial statement.
Thank you. The 2020, oh no, I'm gone wrong.
Huh? We're on the,
Yes, there was no request for decision for this one, so it's
Right.
to approve the financial statements as presented by the auditor.
yeah. So we're just looking for a motion then to approve. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve the audited financial statements presented tonight by the auditors, and just want to put a thanks out to our administration for the long hours and hard work to help them prepare this and keeping everything on the right track.
Thank you. All right, motion on the floor, all in favor? That's carried. Okay, next we've got the 2025 final operating budget.
Thank you. The 2025 proposed final operating budget has been revised to reflect changes that have occurred since the passage of the interim budget in December. The transfer from the operating reserve required to balance the budget is now $774,975. The total 2025 final operating budget totals $34,069,360. The total anticipated municipal tax revenue in the 2025 final operating budget is $8,739,020. This increase from the interim budget is due to a slight increase in assessment growth due to new development in some of the assessment classes. The school tax requisition has increased by $170,073. This results in an increase in actual school tax for residential properties of 3.65%. and an increase in actual school tax for non-residential properties of 3.82%. Based on the assessments for school tax purposes, the residential school tax rate will increase by 6.18%, and the non-residential school tax rate will decrease by 0.2%. Tax rates will be set when we pass the tax rate bylaw at the May 13th council meeting. This draft of the 2025 operating budget proposes an overall average 2% municipal tax dollar increase, for residential properties and a 4% municipal tax dollar increase for non-residential properties. A net school tax increase for both residential and non-residential, and a small decrease in the seniors requisition on both residential and non-residential properties. Residential property tax will increase by approximately 1.81% overall, and non-residential property tax will increase by approximately 4.6%. The changes from interim to operating budget have been listed in the staff recommendation for reference. Administration is recommending that council approve the 2025 operating budget as presented.
Thank you. Any questions on the final operating budget? All right. We are looking for a motion to pass this budget, please. The operating budget. Councillor Shurin?
Okay, I will move that we approve the 2025 financial operating budget as presented.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Next, we have the final capital budget for 2025.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The 2025 final capital budget has been revised to reflect actual tender amounts for capital projects, which had an overall increase of $2,199,311 due to the inclusion of the Jesse Lake Slawuta Pond Area Project. The inclusion of the revisions has adjusted both revenues and expenses, and overall, the proposed 2025 capital budget is a balanced budget with the funding from the General Capital Reserve in the amount of $1,251,733. Total revenue for capital projects for 2025 is anticipated to be $25,308.18. This includes $6,359,978 in grant funding, $11,361,371 in transfer from reserve, $5,601,442 for debenture funding, and this will be from a future debenture, $84,000 from local improvement tax, $626,441 from other revenue, and $1,274,786 from prior year's grant funding. All of the carryover projects have been included in this draft of the capital budget, as well as the corresponding revenue from 2024. Changes to the capital projects from the interim budget are listed in the staff recommendation for reference. We are recommending that council approve the 2025 capital budget as presented.
Thank you. Any questions for administration on the capital project? Councillor Kushner.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Through to administration, just one quick one about the handheld GPS at $18,813. Just wondering why that's such a high number for a handheld GPS.
So that piece of equipment would replace the one that we've had for 10 years, and it's just so we can So we basically take the GPS unit and we mark different, we can mark different points and upload it to our infrastructure map, which then goes onto the website. So it's pretty handy for the public if they're looking for different layers. They can kind of see the different assets that have been tracked with the GPS.
Yeah, no, I kind of understand GPS, but I think I need a little bit more information on this one because, is it because it works well with our software in our system and shows everything with the mapping, or why is it, $18,000? That's the part I don't get, because I mean, handheld GPSs you can get them for like $500. So I'm just wondering what the difference is.
Yes, it does correspond with our GPS system, and that is why, with the software and everything else, it would be a little bit more expensive.
So it works with that's what I figured. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councillor Blanchett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have one question through to administration. On the Slawuta Pond Area 2 project, do we anticipate that'll actually be completed this year?
Yeah, it won't be completely done this year. Most of it will be done this year, but there are a few, like the Jesty Lake scope, that needs to be done in the winter. So that scope won't happen until it's frozen, so January, February. But we expect everything else will be done this year. So the parking lot, the bathroom, trail, and lights.
Excellent, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to administration, we have a number of carryover projects, and I know that's, typical in most years. It feels like there is quite a few this year. Now, are those projects, just more of a clarification for everyone, are these projects that have started and are not finished? Or are these projects that have not yet started but were funded in last year's budget?
Both. So some of them had started last year and they're not finished, for example, the upstairs renovations. There are some, like the wastewater master treatment plan, I do believe the capital infrastructure plan, that did not get started last year, but they're started now this year. So the answer is both.
All right, thank you very much.
Any other questions? I have a question, and of course I can't find it because I didn't mark it off. There was the water reservoir. Are we looking to build a new one? There was like 18,000. Of course I can't.
The water is that the 7.8 million reservoir? Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so that is a project that has been on the capital budget for about 3 years. We have got an application in for a grant. And we're just waiting to hear based on the status of the grant. That's where also that debenture would come in as well to finish the project once we get approval from the grant.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't quite prepared and had it handy in front of me, but thank you, yes. Okay, any other questions on the capital budget? No? All right, we're looking for a motion to pass this budget as presented, please. Councillor Kushner?
I will provide that motion that we pass the capital budget as is.
All in favor? That's carried. Okay, moving on, we've got a funding request from the Lakeland Extreme Broncs and Bulls event.
Thank you. During the April 8th council meeting, the Lakeland Extreme Broncs and Bulls organization provided council with an overview of a new event they are bringing to the City of Cold Lake Energy Center on May 9th and 10th. The event will include barrel racing, a vendor market, and bull and bronc riding. They are requesting the town become a presenting sponsor, which has a cost of $15,000. This event would fall under our event sponsorships and donations policy as it is being held outside of town boundaries. Administration has approval under this policy for limits up to $1,500, and as their request is for $15,000, it is being forwarded to council for consideration. Lakeland Extreme Broncs and Bulls is a for-profit organization. The event will be broadcast on the Cowboy Channel, and they will be hiring nonprofit groups to work the event, which they will provide donations to. Sponsorship levels range from the Bronc Buster sponsor at $1,000, Silver Lariat sponsor for $2,500, Gold Spur sponsor for $5,000, to the Champion Rider sponsor at $15,000. Each of the sponsorship levels include various tickets, seating arrangements, and marketing options. Administration is recommending that council sponsor the Lakeland Broncs and Bulls event at the Bronc Buster level sponsorship for a cost of $1,000.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for administration on this request? Okay, Councillor Schroen?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to administration, I have two questions. The first question, is there a reason an event grant application was not filled out for this? I know it was kind of a late add-on, so I just wondered about that. And how does our policies work for when we are giving money to a for-profit organization, please?
The event grant sponsorship would be for any events held within the town of Bonnyville. So that's why this one falls under the event sponsorship and donations policy, which does not indicate that they have to be not-for-profit. So a for-profit organization can also request funding for an event.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? No? All right, Councillor Johnson?
Just more of a comment. It does kind of fall under tourism, sport tourism in one way, although it isn't being held here. Now, the lacrosse tournament provincials were held between both facilities over the past few years, so now we're getting the majority of the entire lacrosse provincials happening here. I know they did mention about possibly looking at alternating the event back and forth in the future. I don't know how well it would work in our facility with the RJ, with the tight quarter to go into the arena where the Zamboni area is, because it is a hard 90-degree turn and it's very small. And then I worry about displacing the lacrosse players as well, you know, worrying about each year where they're going back and forth and whatnot. So I don't know. Just a couple of concerns I have about the whole thing, but being it's for profit, not in town, I'm not as in favor of it, I guess I would say.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions? No? We are looking for a decision, council. Anybody interested? You know, and I do agree, it is for profit, but it does, to your point, work on tourism. It is $1,000. In the past, we have supported for-profit events and organizations with the intent to help them get established, and then as they came back, we lessened. So this could be an opportunity. I realize it's in Cold Lake, but for regional, you know, support and collaboration, it could be a good thing for us to support. I could certainly see both sides, but I think I'd like to see us at least support it in a nominal, you know, I wouldn't go as far as the champion rider sponsor, but I could support the Bronc Buster sponsorship. That's just my opinion. Councillor Schroen?
Madam Mayor, you know, I can concur with your comments there. So if there isn't any other comments, I will bring the motion to the floor if we need any further discussion. So I would be willing to make the motion based on the staff recommendation that we sponsor the Lakeland Extreme Broncs and Bulls event for the Bronc Buster level for $1,000.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions on the motion? Sorry, any questions? No? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, it's carried. Thank you. Next, event grant funding request for the Bonnyville Soccer Association.
Thank you. Attached is an event grant program application from the Bonnyville Soccer Association requesting funding in the amount of $5,000 for their Wetlands Mini 2025 outdoor tournament being held on June 7th at the Wetlands Soccer Fields. If approved, the funds will be used to cover the anticipated event expenses, which include referee fees, player gifts, and medals. This tournament will host teams from the Lakeland region, including Cold Lake, Bonnyville, Lac La Biche, Vermilion, and surrounding areas, with participants ranging from U7 to U11. Last year, council provided a $2,000 donation for the Wetlands Mini Tournament. Our recommendation is that council approve the event grant program application for the Bonnyville Soccer Association for the Wetlands Mini 2025 tournament in the amount of $2,000.
Thank you. Any questions on this request or comments? No? All right, Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to administration, did we not, and I'm not sure if I'm mistaken, but did we not have a request from the Soccer Association in regards to a different event?
That was the Lakeland Soccer Association, different organization.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was definitely confused on that one.
Good catch. Councillor Blanchett?
To Councillor Langridge's point, when we look at the Appendix A, we've got the Bonnyville Soccer Association in there for $1,000 for a provincial tournament. Does that fall under another policy then?
Yes, it does.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Seeing none, we are looking for a decision. Councillor Langridge?
I guess one more comment to it, Madam Mayor. I know this is the event that they have typically hosted that weekend for many, many moons, and it falls the same weekend typically as the rodeo, and part of why town becomes an absolute madhouse that weekend. And you know, they bring a lot of people in. They're not typically going to be staying in the hotels because they are from U7 to U11, which is from the just closer neighboring communities. But that being said, you know, with our big focus on sports tourism and bringing people to our community, we also have been hosting our garage sale that weekend as well. So it's kind of a trifecta of events. But I would be in favor of supporting their event. Bonnyville Minor Soccer does a good job in our community, both indoor and outdoor, and I'm fully behind our sports tourism, as you know. So I would make the motion to go. I better make sure what staff recommendation is here. Yeah, I would go with what staff recommendation for the request of the $2,000 for the tournament.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Opposed? Sorry about that. Apologies. It is carried though. Thank you. Okay, next, the Rural Immigration Program.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council, before you have a request for decision related to the Rural Immigration Program. At the last Economic Development Committee meeting, the status of the program was discussed in great detail. The program is currently paused, but the committee was presented with a half dozen options on how to proceed or terminate the program. The biggest changes to the program recent changes are from the provincial government. They've taken the number of nominations provincially down from 1,900 to 950 across 35 communities that are participating in the program. Now, the program in itself has received some good feedback from the local business community, and they're quite strongly behind it. Conversely, the program does take up a lot of staff time. So the committee unanimously recommended that the program be reopened on a limited basis. That basis being employers with over 5 employees would be limited to 30% of their workforce. Those with less than 5 employees would be limited to 2 nominations. So the recommendation then is that the program be reopened on a limited basis with larger businesses sponsoring approximately 30% of their workforce and smaller businesses having up to 2 employees.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mark. Any questions for administration on this request? Councillor Sharoon?
Not so much a question, but a comment. When Councillor Kushner, Mark Laver, and I attended the Economic Development Conference out west this winter, when we told the developers, franchisee owners, that we are involved in this program, it was very well received, because one of their questions is, what are we doing with, if, labor shortages? And because of this program, we got a lot of positive feedback. So just wanted to mention that I think this is great that we brought it back on the table. And thank you. I commend the Economic Development Committee for bringing this back up. So thanks.
Thank you. Any other, Councillor Blanchett?
Just one quick question, Madam Mayor. We've got it broken down between more than 5 employees and less than 5 employees, and I'm just wondering, if they have 5 employees, which side of the line do they fall on?
Less.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, so we are looking for a decision on the recommendation. Councillor Langridge?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And through to this, with the Economic Development Committee, we discussed this one at length last week, I believe it was. And a lot of the same sentiment that Councillor Sharoon shares is that, there's a lot of business, there's a high demand in our area for this program. But at a lot of the roadblocks and red tape are out of the municipalities' hands. They fall on the provincial and federal governments. But we want to be able to support our local business community as much as possible. And if it's still having them apply to the program under the new restrictions, then that's what we definitely want to do. So I would move staff recommendation on this.
Okay, thank you. Motion on the floor. Any questions? Councillor McAvoy?
Just for clarification, through to Councillor Langridge, could you adjust the staff recommendation to say if a business has 5 or less employees, just so we don't have that issue of where does 5 fit?
I don't have a problem with that amendment.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, motion on the floor. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have a request for the North Central Region 46th Annual Golf Day.
Thank you. The town received an email regarding the North Central Region 46 Annual Golf Day being held at the Barhead Golf Course on June 13th. The entry fee is $180 per golfer and includes golf, cart, meals, and prizes. Administration is requesting that council advise if they would like to register for the North Central 46th Annual Golf Day, and if so, the number of golfers to register.
Thank you. I think it's important to note as well that it comes from the Ministry of Transportation. In the past, from what I understand, it has come, it's not something that we participated in, but it is a bipartisan, it's just for Alberta Transportation, and in light of building relationships, trying to get Highway 28 done is in part and partial why it's coming forward to
Yes.
council. That's right. Any questions? Sorry. Comments? Are we interested? Councillor Kushner?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I think it's going to come down to who can go golfing, would be my opinion. I'm out for golf this year, so I can't golf at all. So I don't know, and you kind of want some council people there. So I think it comes down to that. I don't think it comes down to the $180. I don't think that's a problem. But I do think we need to have representation if we're going to be doing, these golf tournaments. And I cannot golf. My shoulder is all screwed up, so I'm out for the year. So just so everybody knows.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Follow to my comments previously. I think it would be a good thing for us to go as we're building that relationship. I mean, I could go, but it's up to council if we want to attend this or not. It could be good timing as we do have some upcoming meetings and all the work that we're getting done in town. So is this something that we do want to support? If so, we could just put something out to council to see who could attend.
Yeah, I would be okay with that, like if 1 or 2 want to go out and represent the town. Because it's important to have these relationships with Alberta Transportation, especially with all the work that's going to be happening in our area. So I have no issue if one or two want to go and we do a doodle poll to see who wants to go.
Do we need a motion in that regard, or should we just send out a?
Just that we will register the number of golfers based on the number of attendees that can attend.
Okay.
I'll make that motion to, we will participate in the golf tournament based on a number of people that can attend from council.
Available? Okay. All right, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, next, we have another request, this time from the Tribal Chiefs Employment and Training Services. I'll let administration explain.
The Tribal Chiefs Employment and Training Services Association has sent in a sponsorship package for their annual networking golf tournament being held on July 24th at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Sponsorship levels range from a whole sponsor at a cost of $150 to a title sponsor at a cost of $5,000. The town has not attended this event previously. We are asking that council advise administration if they would like to sponsor this event, and if so, at what level of sponsorship, or attend by registering a golfer or a team.
All right, we're looking for the same conversation. Is this something that we're interested in attending? I guess we can start there. Actually, I do want to start. Administration and I, we did have a meeting with tribal chiefs that we will bring forward to council in camera. So for me, in the, again, in, you know, with relationship building and making connections, I think it would be of benefit for us to have representation at this golf tournament, but I leave it open to council. What say you? Councillor Langridge?
Madam Mayor, I guess a question to you perhaps. If we want to provide a team of 4, you know, it'll be a $1,400 entry. Do we feel that if we are struggling to find a team of 4, we're better off potentially looking at a silver sponsor to show our support for the event? Or are you really wanting to go whack the sticks on the July 24th?
No, that's a good question. It's entirely up to council. We could also do the single player entry too as well, right? Like you don't have to, doesn't answer your questions. I mean, I think having somebody in person, I think would be more beneficial. This is, if you recall, Councillor Johnson and I last year also attended an event, a gala that they held. It was well attended. They reached out to the town of Bonnyville again in the essence of relationship building. So we are creating a good relationship. So it might be nice to have somebody in person at it. But Councillor Langridge.
I guess through to administration, are we able to make a similar motion to the previous to see how many people would be interested in going?
Yes, we can. Up to a team of 4 if you want to do that, so.
And my motion would be that, what was your motion?
Well, a team is 1,400, so it could be up to that amount.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so then my motion would be that we poll council to see who would be available to attend the event put on by tribal chiefs up to 4 players or the amount of $1,400.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, moving along, committee reports. We'll start with Councillor Johnson, please.
All right, so April the 16th, I attended the LFRN burnout session presented by Jana Cook. It was well attended in person and online, and she had some really, really good information. April the 12th, I attended the Bonnyville Health Foundation Gala. Congratulations to the committee, and thank you to everybody who attended and raising money for our hospital. April the 14th, we had an Ohana Center meeting. April the 15th, I had Governance and Priorities Committee meeting. April the 16th, I attended the Minister's Town Hall on Bill 50 here in Council Chambers. And April the 17th, we had a Water Commission meeting, and that's all for me.
All righty. Looking at from our last one, attended the Health Foundation Gala on April the 5th. A job well done by the committee, and looking forward to hearing the totals that they were able to raise. On the 14th, we had an economic development meeting. On the 15th, the G&P meeting, and then myself, along with some of my fellow councillors and mayor, attended some of the recruitment meetings. Same thing, another set of recruitment meetings on the 17th, and that leads us to today.
Thank you. On the April 12th, I attended the Health Foundation Gala. The 14th, Ag Society. We will be asked again to make pancakes and serve pancakes in the breakfast on the morning of the Saturday morning of the Chuck Wagon and Rodeo. On the 15th, more details to follow. On the 15th, we had the CAO placeholder initial screening meeting. On the 15th as well, we had a governance and priorities. On the 16th, Lakeland Lodge and Housing, and then again on the 17th, the CAO placeholder initial screening meetings. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. On April 7th, I had a Waste Commission meeting. Just want to bring everybody up to speed. We are replacing 2 trailers this year. In order to do that, we're going to have to borrow money. But we are anticipating to replace many of our other trailers as they are starting to age and getting to the point where just fixing them up is not feasible. So we are looking at increasing our, you know, what we're charging back to the municipalities. Thank you. So our CAO is well aware of that. April 7th, I had our first Midtowns Association meeting. It was a really good meeting. You know, I've had somebody just today from Peace River reach out, inquiring about the association. So the word is really getting out about this association. On April 8th, I attended a virtual town tour with a potential pediatric doctor. On April 8th to 11th, I attended the Economic Development of Alberta Conference, all about gaining insights into Alberta's economic landscape and an overview of current and future economic forecasts. It's not all doom and gloom. It's really, the conversation is about now is a good opportunity. A lot of investment does not want to go down into the States. They're pulling out or they're just changing directions. So how can we best prepare our region, our municipality to welcome some of those investments? April 12th, attended the Health Gala. April 14th, I had an ECDAV meeting as well as a Municorp meeting. April 13th, I attended a breakfast for the 911 Telecommunications Appreciation Week. April 15th, I had an ABMA meeting. April 16th, we had a meeting with tribal chiefs. April 16th, also attended or listened in on Minister McIver's town hall on Bill 50.
Okay, April 12th, Bonnyville Health Foundation Gala. April 15th, the Governance and Priorities Committee meeting. April 16th, Town Hall with the Minister of Municipal Affairs on Bill 50. April 21st, yesterday, SPCA board meeting, and then I also had several meetings over the past 2 weeks as the FCSS Association president that I will not list out and bore you. That's all for me.
April 12th, the Bonnyville Health 25th gala. The 15th, the Governance and Priorities meeting. On the 16th, the Lakeland Lodge and Housing meeting in Coal Lake, and we are continually seeing low vacancy rates, which is good for the lodge and that, and we haven't incurred any major expenses, which is why the requisitions are down this year, as you noticed when we did taxes. And then on the 17th, the Bonnyville Regional Water Services Commission meeting, and that's it.
Okay, for me, April 10th, I had my elected officials education programming. April 12th, Bonnyville Health Gala. That was a really good thing, I thought. Boy, I think they raised a lot of money. Did anybody hear how much money they raised? I'm sure it was close to $1 million this year. April 13th, we had the 911 telecommunicators pancake breakfast in the morning. April 14th, an ECDev committee meeting, and then April 15th, governance and priorities meeting.
Okay, thank you. We also have a couple correspondence, strategic planning update, business licensing report. If anybody's interested, Municorp is doing their trail ride event for August 11th. If anybody's ever interested in joining us, it's a really good opportunity to get out and see the trail. Councillor Kushner and I have gone a few times. Any questions on any of those listed so far? Okay. We have a proclamation, whereas the town of Bonnyville recognizes and celebrates the invaluable contributions of nurses to the health and well-being of our community. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Bonnyville hereby proclaims the week of May 12th to 18th, 2025 as Nurses Week, and urges all residents to recognize and appreciate the hard work, dedication, and compassion of nurses in our community. As well, we've got our Appendix A, and any questions before we go into camera? No? A few items in camera, if I can get a motion, please. Councillor Kushner.
Give you the motion to go in camera.